Do you buy a lightweight bike or an aero bike? You want to buy a bike for a gran fondo, an epic ride, or an event you're going to spend months training for. A ride that's going to include climbs, descents, and some flat sections.
Conventional wisdom suggests that for an event with lots of climbing, the lightweight climbing bike would be best. But maths suggests the aero.
But it's not as simple as that. So we're going to explore the theory and do a practical experiment in a bid to find out. Now, unfortunately, we don't have time to ride a full gran fondo twice. So what we're going to do is ride an eighth of one and extrapolate it.
But before we do that, let me tell you a little bit about our bikes. Representing the world of lightweight bikes, we have the new Canyon Ultimate CFR. It's a climbing weapon and it hits the scales at 6.7 kilograms. And representing the Aero bike is the Orbea Orca Aero, designed for maximal speed and is similar to many modern aero bikes. This bike, it tips the scales at 8.15 kilograms. These bikes are broadly representative of the two camps. Of course, all bikes blur the lines now, and a bike like the Canyon Ultimate is an all-rounder, but it's definitely skewed more towards the lightweight end compared to, say, the Canyon Aero or Orca Aero. We're going to ride both bikes, but before we do that, Ollie, come on, tell us all about your sciencey stuff.
Well, we've done some course modelling thanks to my windsock, and our course is 20 kilometres. Now, it's typical terrain that you'd find in a gran fondo or big event, right? So we've got a flat valley road section, an alpine climb, and then a descent for finish.
Sounds fantastic.
Now, if I average 220 watts for this, so that means I'll average more on the flat and then more on the climb and then basically nothing on the descent.
Makes sense.
Averaging 220 watts overall. The model predicts I will do this course in just over 40 minutes. Now, switching to an aero bike, it should, according to the maths, it would save me 20 seconds overall.
Even with the weight penalty?
Even with the weight penalty.
Okay.
This is also equivalent to roughly around a 20 watt saving or a reduction in CDA of about 0.2. Oh no, 0.02.
All right, but what happens if we bump these numbers up a little bit into, we're talking like the pro ranks here, say 300 watts on the flat, 350 on the climb?
Well, if we bump it up to the pro numbers, it comes out significantly faster, saying 34 minutes, 17 seconds, and still that saving in favour of the aero bike overall by around 20 to 30 seconds, depending on how you tweak a few things.
So if we extrapolate those savings over the course of a gran fondo, say 160 kilometres, that 20 to 30 seconds is going to save you in the region of 3 to 4 minutes, which, well, it depends however you're going to look at it, but it's either a little bit or a significant amount. And I'm going to say it's something to take notice of.
Yeah, you can decide whether that's a lot or not much to you. That's up to you. But we should point out that this model is quite flawed for a number of reasons because it does simplify several things. For example, it assumes that it is for a lone rider riding along, essentially doing a time trial, which is basically what we're going to be doing too, rather than in a big event where you could be in a peloton for periods of the time and there could be significant drafting elements involved. But that's something that's very hard to sort of add into our calculation on this, and we just wanted to simplify it and keep it simple for now.
But that said, there still is going to be an aero benefit to having an aero bike, even if you're drafting.
Yes,
it might be slightly reduced.
It's a common misconception that it doesn't matter riding an aero bike when you're drafting. It does. There's still a saving to be had.
What about when it comes to the descent then?
Well, this is the other thing I'm thinking, and this is what we're not sure about, because the sort of when you're mathematically calculating a descent and the aero savings that can be had, it's doing it in a simplified way, similar to how when you ride down a descent in Zwift and you just fly around all the corners at like 70k an hour.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that in the real world.
No. And so, in reality, is it a case of if you're riding, you're riding an aero bike that's slightly faster, but is the limiting factor as to how fast you go on the descent around the corners not the super aero of the bike, but actually rider skill? I mean, we're not all Tom Pidcock.
I think you might be onto something good there. Yeah, I think that might be the case.
Well, that's why we've got to do it in the real world and see what happens.
All right.
First up, quick disclaimer, this isn't the most scientific test. We are aware that we can't control all the variables, and that's because we just don't have infinite resource and infinite time to make this test more thorough. But we would have more resource and time if, well, more of you subscribed. In fact, if all of you who subscribed who are watching this, because statistically not all of you have, then we could make our content better. So if you'd like us to continually improve what we do, then you know what to do. This is the start of our test course. Alex is going to go first. I'm going to go a minute behind him. He's on the Aero bike. I'm on the lightweight bike. We're going to do it, and then we're going to swap. And we're going to ride the same power on both bikes.
We're just going to replicate it both ways round, aren't we?
Let's do it.
Quick question, where's your Aero udder like I've got? I've got all my Spanish snacks in there.
Well, my bike's probably less Aero. Right, let's do it. I'm going to count you in.
Oh, yeah.
Do some beeps. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, beautiful.
Coming behind you, a minute behind.
Right, settle into our average power. Concentrate, same body positions. Let's make this as scientific and accurate as we can. In the name of science.
Right, it's coming up to a minute. The cameraman's gone off with Alex, so I'm filming myself. So I'm going to give myself some beeps in a sec and go.
The aim here is to just hold consistent power on the flats, and then whatever we do on the climb, the same. And then I'm aiming to just freewheel on the descent. Now I'm currently riding within myself. You know, I'm not riding at threshold up here because that wouldn't be representative of what you'd do in a Gran Fondo or an epic ride. You can't sustain threshold on every single climb. So I'm riding at a pace that I know I could do on multiple climbs in a big ride.
Oh, so far so good. I mean, it's an absolute brute of a climb. I'm sure Ollie's just told you all about it as he seemingly breezed past me. These little kicks up of gradient are really making it tricky for me to maintain a constant power, especially being that bit heavier than Ollie, but I'm doing my best so I can replicate it all again very shortly. Oh, what a delight that'll be.
Just coming into the end of run one.
Right, run one done. Now when Alex gets down here, we'll swap over bikes. Oh, it's fun, I like that. Nice roads here. All right, fun that, wasn't it? Nice here.
Oh, it's lovely. Beautiful area.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun.
Something important to point out before we do the next run is that whenever you test in the real world on road, one of the things that can really impact the results of it is traffic. Now, we haven't seen many cars, there just happened to be one that went past straight there. And these roads are very quiet, which makes testing like this a bit more accurate.
Good testing conditions.
Yes, it's very still day as well, which is also good. Right, let's crack on. Let's swap.
Adjust the saddle height.
Yeah.
Right, we're ready to go for our second run. We've already adjusted our saddle heights, so all we need to do...
Swap wahoos, swap bikes.
Swap wahoo head units, swap bikes.
Take good care of it.
Well, go steady on that one, it's fast. Oh boy, does she go. And we need to calibrate our power meter.
Oh yeah, shit.
We need to link those up. It's a steady process. So forget them. Forget Shimano Power.
Round two, champ.
I cannot wait.
Beep, 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 beep. Remember, do what you did last time.
Don't eat my snacks out of that storage box. Oh, so good. Holding my steady power. Right now, I've got the average power down to the watt, exactly the same. That's what we like. What we don't like is just seeing that Ollie's going to pass me again. Oh man, I go so slowly at 200 watts uphill. I feel like a snail. Bye. I'm a war face, so I go to war with the doctor.
About 3/4 of the way up the climb now, and to be perfectly honest, I'm struggling to sort of feel a difference in the weight between the two bikes. It's very hard to perceive when you're moving. Yeah, you can feel it when you accelerate, when you set off from a standing start, but once you've got that inertia, that momentum, and you're rolling along, even on a climb, yeah, it's anyone that says they can feel it, you know, I'd question that, especially when it's only around half a kilo. Oh, that was fun. But do you know what? Like, I've not looked at like what the time is, and I'm actually excited to find out what the results are, because the power was the same, and I don't know which one was faster. So, let's wait for Alex to finish. Hey man.
Oh, goodness me.
Good effort.
Good cycling, good game, good game.
Right. I think what we need to do is go and have a refreshing beverage and go back to GCN
Espanol Mega Moon Base.
Yeah, Satellite Mega Moon Base Alpha. Yeah. Go back there, compute the results.
I'm glad you said that. I'm starving, I'm tired, and I'm hungry.
We'll get you a bucket of though.
Thank you very much.
Lots to unpick here, fans. Let's go.
Can I have my bike back now?
Well, we're back in the serenity of GCN and Espanol Satellite Mega Moon Base Alpha. Right, here are the results.
Result time.
Alex, you go first. Here's with your results.
Right, I'll go with the overall results, and then the breakdown of that we'll put into a little chart on screen so everyone can crunch the numbers themselves. So overall, my time for the Aero bike was 40 minutes, 46 seconds, and I averaged 198 watts. Then my time for the lightweight bike, 41 minutes, 16 seconds with a 200 watt average. Now, that breaks down to pretty much slap bang on 30 seconds faster on the Aero bike. It's like as if by magic. Now, I do feel that I want to put a little caveat.
Well, hang on a minute, maths works.
Maths and science works. Who'd have actually thought that?
That's mental.
Yeah, so a little caveat with this. The lightweight bike was not the optimum fit and setup for me. So I think should perfectly mimicked my position, I think that would narrow the margin between the two. I think everyone should just take that into account a little bit.
Right. I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's fair. Do you want to hit us with your stats?
So, okay, I have got here on the lightweight bike.
Yeah.
I averaged 220 watts.
You rode a bit faster than me, didn't you?
Yep, that was the average. And then I did 221 watts on the Aero bike.
Okay.
Lightweight bike, 38 minutes, 7 seconds.
Okay.
Aero bike, 38 minutes, ready for this?
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Like nearly identical.
Pretty much the same.
How's that thing?
Well, this is the thing, right? Although if you just take that in isolation, you think, oh, that was the same. How I arrived at those times was drastically different. So like Alex said, we will put the different times up on screen, and all the breakdowns so you can see.
In fact, we're going to do it right now.
So here you can see we've broken down the ride into 3 sectors. We've got the flat sector, we've got the climb sector, and the descent sector. Now, on the flat, the Aero bike was consistently faster for both of us for the same power. On the climb, it was consistently slower, although it was quite a bit slower on the climb than what I anticipated. The interesting thing as well is that on the descent, for both of us, the Aero bike was a bit faster.
Yeah,
you're talking in the range of like just 10, 15 seconds. But that dispels that thing we were talking about you having to be Tom Pidcock to extract the aero out of the bike.
I mean, even if
it was
you
just quicker. Now, like we said at the start, this isn't the most scientific test in the world. There is margin for error here, but the aero bike did, come on top for both of us. Although for me, I would say that's within the margin of error. It's quite similar.
Yeah.
And I mean, speculate. Maybe that's because I weigh like 10 kilograms less than you.
Yeah, like system mass-wise, I'm significantly heavier.
So that extra kilo on the aero bike is a larger proportion of my overall system mass, and maybe that has a greater effect on me.
There's other areas that we can consider as well that can look at saving a similar amount of time, say over a gran fondo, things like your clothing that you wear, perhaps your tyre choice as well.
Well, this is it. So we've also done videos recently where we've looked at the choice of clothing, and in particular race suits over a standard aero jersey and shorts like we were wearing today. And the result of that was that, well, the aero suit makes more difference than the type of bike that you ride.
Yeah.
So, and it's a much cheaper purchase as well.
Well, same for your tyres.
And your tyres. If your tyres aren't optimised, optimise your tyres.
So for our experiment, it does appear that on mixed terrain, the aero bike is the faster choice. And you know what? That is the bike that I would pick.
Yeah. Well, I would still, I think, pick a lightweight bike if I could only have one bike.
What?
Yeah, just because my favourite thing is just riding up climbs as quick as I can against, you.
Well, you've proved that today.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And just, riding against my mates, and that's the bike that's best for that. And the lightweight bike was quicker on the climb, so.
Okay, well, we've cleared that up then, haven't we?
Well, there you go. Let us know what you'd pick, an aero bike or a lightweight bike for your next bike in the comments below. And we hope you found this useful. If you have, thumbs up, subscribe. And if you've got questions or you'd like us to revisit this topic in more detail, let us know, and we'll see you in the next one. Right, let's get some tapas.
Everyone that comments aero bike, I'm going to try and like their comment.
Let's get some tapas.
Yeah, right, I'm out of here.
Oh, I need tapas.
Wheelie out.
Tapas is good in Spain, isn't it? I like tapas.